You eat raw, you eat very clean. But why does your body still feel heavy, tired, and unable to recover? Maybe it's not the food that's wrong, but the hidden complexity that's quietly draining your vitality every single day. My name is Ethan Marshall, a 60-year-old physician from the United States, and I've spent more than 3 decades observing a truth that many people find hard to accept. A large number of people believe they are eating to heal, but in reality they are eating in ways that continue to slow their bodies down. This may surprise you, but many of my patients have switched to eating raw, eating green, eating food that looks beautiful on social media, only to come back to my clinic with the same question. Why am I doing everything right, yet I'm still tired? Before we go any further, if you're looking for honest health content that doesn't sugarcoat reality or chase trends, please subscribe to the channel, hit like, and share this video to support me in continuing to create valuable content for the community, especially for those over 50 who genuinely want to feel better, not just feel reassured by what they eat. In recent years, raw cuisine has exploded across social media. You can easily find multi-layer raw pizzas, raw desserts, raw lasagnas, visually stunning, carefully plated, and labeled as healthy, natural, or healing. Many people see this as a major step forward compared to their old way of eating, and I understand why. When you're exhausted from medications, chronic illness, and the feeling that your body is getting heavier year by year, any path branded as natural feels full of hope. But here's the real issue. We very easily bring old eating mindsets and old desires for satisfaction into a new form of eating. The food may not be cooked, but the psychology around eating remains exactly the same. In my clinical work, I meet many people over 50 who eat raw, yet still feel bloated, sleepy after meals, mentally foggy, and low on energy in the morning. When I ask more closely, they often say, "But I eat raw, doctor. I don't eat bad food." That is the most common misconception of all. Raw does not automatically mean light, and beautiful does not automatically mean suitable for a body that is trying to recover. Gourmet raw food, even when driven by good intentions, can obscure the core goal of healing, reducing the burden on the digestive system so the body has energy to cleanse and repair. When appearance becomes too appealing, we easily forget the most important question of all. Does my body actually feel comfortable after this meal? Before moving on to the next part, I'd like you to pause for a moment, ask yourself this question, and leave your comment below. A. I eat healthy mainly because it looks reassuring. B. I eat and clearly listen to my body after every meal. The core problem with raw gourmet dishes is not whether they are cooked or uncooked, but the internal structure of the meal itself. When examined closely, most elaborate raw cuisine is built on a foundation of finely ground nuts, high amounts of cold-pressed oils, concentrated fats, and dense sweeteners such as dates, syrups, or plant-based nectars. From a chemical and digestive physiology standpoint, these are still high-energy density ingredients that require large amounts of enzymes, digestive fluids, and extended processing time. Grinding nuts does not make them lighter. On the contrary, it increases surface area, allowing fats and plant proteins to be absorbed quickly while remaining difficult to fully metabolize, especially for digestive systems weakened by age. In addition, dehydration methods commonly used in raw gourmet remove the food's natural biological water, forcing the body to compensate by drawing on its own internal water and energy reserves to rebalance the dry, concentrated mass. Another key factor is excessive ingredient combination within a single dish. When multiple nuts, oils, sweeteners, and additives are mixed together, each food group demands a different digestive mechanism, creating overlap and competition in the stomach and small intestine. As a result, the digestive system must remain active for extended periods instead of completing a simple, efficient digestive cycle. In practice, the transit time of a complex raw gourmet meal through the digestive tract can equal or even exceed that of a conventional cooked meal, undermining the very advantage raw eating is supposed to provide. Furthermore, the high-fat content from oils and ground nuts slows intestinal motility, delaying waste movement. When this occurs repeatedly, even meals that appear green and clean remain. In essence, heavy meals for a body that needs rest in order to recover. Raw Gourmet does not fail because of the raw food philosophy itself, but because that philosophy is applied in an overcomplicated way, turning what was meant to reduce physiological load into a refined eating style that still places significant stress on the digestive system. When complex meals are maintained over time, physiological consequences emerge quietly yet persistently, and these very consequences become major obstacles to natural healing. First, when the digestive system must constantly process dense food, the body is forced to prioritize digestion over recovery, regeneration, and elimination. In this state, post-meal fatigue, heaviness, and reduced concentration are no longer temporary reactions, but gradually become a new physiological baseline. From a metabolic perspective, the complex combination of fats, plant proteins, and concentrated sugars tends to create an acidic environment during breakdown. When prolonged, intermediate metabolic byproducts accumulate, contributing to the formation of mucus and residue in the intestines. These substances not only slow intestinal movement, but also block direct contact between the intestinal lining and nutrients, reducing absorption efficiency. The role of the colon becomes especially critical in this context. The colon is responsible for completing waste elimination. When waste flow slows due to heavy adhesive food masses, retention time increases, raising the risk of toxic reabsorption into circulation. The body then enters a vicious cycle, consuming foods believed to be healthy, while simultaneously facing an ever-growing detoxification burden. Clinically, common manifestations include persistent bloating, mild yet chronic constipation, brain fog, reduced morning vitality, and shallow sleep. These signs indicate that internal cleansing is incomplete despite dietary changes. Importantly, these consequences do not appear suddenly, but accumulate over time, making it difficult for individuals to directly connect them to their current eating habits. When healing aims to release life energy and restore the body's self-regulating capacity, any factor that sustains digestive overload works against that goal. Instead of allowing vitality to return, complex meals keep the body in a state of processing and defense, slowing or stalling natural recovery. The golden principle of healing lies in simplicity, not as a slogan, but as a physiological law observable in practice. When food is returned to a state closest to nature, the body's need for adjustment, classification, and complex processing is significantly reduced. Whole foods that are minimally processed and minimally combined allow the digestive system to complete its work more quickly, freeing energy for other functions such as tissue regeneration, hormonal balance, and elimination of residual waste. Eating fewer components per meal does not imply nutritional deficiency. Rather, it reflects the body's preference for physiological efficiency over quantity or visual variety. When each meal focuses on a single primary food group, digestive enzymes act in coordination, reducing biochemical competition and limiting unwanted metabolic byproducts. This is especially important for bodies that have endured years of digestive overload, where adaptive capacity is no longer as strong as in youth. In practice, simplifying meal structure shortens digestion time, produces a clearer sense of lightness after eating, and gradually stabilizes circadian rhythms. Prioritizing whole foods consumed singly or with minimal combinations helps preserve natural biological moisture in the intestines, supports peristalsis, and facilitates elimination. At the same time, dietary simplicity positively affects the nervous system, as the autonomic nervous system no longer needs to constantly adjust to heavy, complex meals. In this context, simplification is not extreme restriction, but a deliberate choice aimed at restoring harmony between food and human physiology. When applied consistently, the body begins to show clear signs of recovery, such as steadier daily energy, gentler digestion, and increased mental clarity. Simplicity thus becomes not merely a tool for healing, but the foundation that allows the body's inherent self-regulating mechanisms to re-engage and function naturally. The conclusion of this entire analysis leads to a consistent understanding. Healing is not an effort to recreate familiar foods in new forms, but a fundamental shift in how humans interact with food. When old dishes are imitated with different ingredients, whether labeled raw or natural, the old consumption mindset remains intact, and that very mindset continues to maintain the physiological pressures accumulated over many years. True healing requires a deeper transition, from seeking familiar sensations to prioritizing the body's natural adaptive capacity. This process involves gradually letting go of dietary complexity, not only at the ingredient level, but also at the level of habits and expectations. As meals are simplified, the digestive system is no longer forced into constant processing. The colon gains better conditions to complete elimination, and innate self-regulating mechanisms begin to recover. This does not happen as a sudden event, but as a cumulative process in which each lighter meal incrementally reduces internal burden. Returning to simplicity does not mean abandoning nutrition or the enjoyment of eating. It means reestablishing a proper relationship between physiological needs and food choices. When the body no longer has to continuously adapt to complex meals, life energy is freed to support more essential functions such as cellular repair, nervous system stability, and internal balance. From this perspective, simplicity is not deprivation, but the optimal state for biological systems to function efficiently. Healing, therefore, lies not in discovering ever more novel dietary formulas, but in removing the excess factors that have quietly obstructed the body over time. When complexity is replaced with a clear, gentle eating structure, the body gradually returns to the state it was designed to maintain: self-balancing, self-cleansing, and self-repairing. This is the core meaning of returning to simplicity as a sustainable foundation for long-term health. The entire discussion points to a clear reality. Healing does not reside in trendy eating styles, but in reducing the load so the body can restore itself. Elaborate raw meals, despite healthy intentions, can still maintain physiological strain when they are overly complex, dense, and highly combined. When digestion is constantly active, life energy is diverted toward processing rather than regeneration. In contrast, simplicity in eating shortens digestion time, supports complete elimination, and allows the body to re-enter a state of self-balance. The central message throughout is this: healing is not about adding more, but about removing what has silently drained vitality for years. A profound lesson emerges. The human body functions best when placed in favorable physiological conditions, not when it must continuously adapt to complexity. Applying this insight to daily life can begin with very simple changes: reducing the number of ingredients per meal, prioritizing whole foods close to nature, listening to bodily sensations after eating, and allowing the digestive system adequate rest. These small but consistent adjustments build a solid foundation for lasting health. In your view, what matters more in healing nutrition? The reassurance of appearance, or the genuine sense of lightness your body feels after each meal? Please share your thoughts openly in the comments. If you want to go deeper into natural health and healing, fill out the form in the description to receive a healing ebook, and subscribe to the channel, hit like, and share this video to support the channel in continuing to deliver valuable, practical content.